The USS Abraham Lincoln hasn't suddenly vanished or started a war by going dark. What's really happened is that the carrier strike group has shifted into a sensitive operational posture as it deploys toward the Middle East amid rising tensions with Iran, and that has implications for what's on the horizon. Publicly available tracking data show that regular transponder signals from the Lincoln have disappeared, but this is a common operational security measure used by warships entering contested or sensitive regions. Shutting off public signals and limiting open communications helps prevent adversaries from tracking exact movements, and doesn't necessarily mean military action has begun. It's part of how naval forces manage their visibility and protect both their position and mission. In recent days, multiple news updates confirm that the Lincoln Carrier Strike Group has been deployed into the Middle East region, alongside several guided Fay missile destroyers and other assets. This deployment has been linked to escalating U.S. concerns about Iran's domestic situation, its posture on nuclear issues, and ongoing geopolitical friction. U.S. officials say the Carrier Strike Group increases deterrence and readiness in the region, giving the U.S. a wide range of options from diplomacy to potential military action. But nothing has been publicly confirmed as a direct strike order. Iran's leadership has responded strongly to the military buildup. The country's supreme leader warned that any U.S. attack would spark a regional war, a phrase that underlines how dangerous escalation could be for the broader Middle East. Iranian officials have framed any external military move as a threat to national sovereignty and issued stark warnings of retaliation if the U.S. takes combative action. So what could happen next around Iran first? The presence of the carrier and accompanying vessels gives the U.S. strategic flexibility. It allows for surveillance, rapid deployment of air power, humanitarian evacuation if needed, and coordination with allies. It's also a signal to Iran and to regional partners that the U.S. is prepared to shift from deterrence to action if red lines are crossed, such as large Fay-scale violence against civilians or attacks on U.S. forces. At the same time, both Washington and Tehran appear to be balancing military signaling with ongoing diplomatic channels. U.S. officials have publicly stated that discussions and negotiations, including on nuclear issues, are continuing even as forces relocate, and the U.S. president has not publicly ordered an attack, instead keeping all options on the table. If tensions were to escalate into conflict, several dynamics could shape what happens next. Iran might ramp up its own readiness, moving air defense systems, naval assets, and proxy forces into higher alert postures. Tehran's leadership has publicly asserted it would defend itself against external attacks, raising the risk of retaliation against U.S. military assets or allies. Proxy and regional actors aligned with Iran, including armed groups in Iraq, Syria, and Yemen, could escalate actions against U.S. interests or shipping lanes, complicating the regional security picture. Diplomacy and third party mediation efforts from states like Qatar and others might intensify in order to prevent conflict, especially if the situation threatens energy markets and wider regional stability. If U.S. military action were ordered, which is not decided, it could involve precise airstrikes, cyber operations, or interdictions against missile systems, rather than a full Fay-scale invasion aiming to limit escalation while achieving strategic objectives. Right now, the carrier's dark status should be seen as part of military positioning and secrecy during a period of diplomatic and strategic tension, not confirmed proof of imminent war. What plays out next depends on how both sides manage their diplomatic, economic, and military responses in the coming days and weeks.